most mechanical player maybe of all time in pro play.
Definitely a very entertaining team. They look like they're playing a different game. They're just different.
Every single player on the roster, it was like they were their own superstar.
Top team in Europe is taking it to number 2.
That's nuts. I was there for that.
That's crazy. Joyo's cracked, dude.
Joey was nuts. You guys saw it correctly. We are reacting to Rocket League, the movie. It is an hour and 2-minute long full cinematic movie. Shout out to my boy Waiting for making this. We're going to be reacting, me, the coach of our RLCS team, and Sushi, one of the starters. Sushi, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Just got off work. Ready to watch some Rocket League.
You excited for this movie?
I am.
All right.
Very excited.
Make sure you guys stick around to the end, and let's see how this goes.
In the RLCS 2021 and 22 season, Rocket League fans bore witness to the most meteoric rise in the game's history. Never before had we seen such an unexpected
nutty save
from a
Yo,
young
that
group of
save was
players
crazy.
that were previously
Yeah, that was in LA.
But all within less than a year, the names Rise, Joyo, and Vatira
Rise,
went from
Joyo,
3 question marks to
Vatira.
household names in the community. Today, I present to you not only a story
Moist.
of failure, triumph, and beautiful
Let's get
redemption,
wet.
but also a story of family and a young player's dreams
I actually
coming true
really
right before our
enjoy
very eyes.
them as a
Folks,
team.
after more than
Yeah,
2
me
years
too.
of putting together this documentary, I proudly present to you the biggest project I've ever worked on. This is the incredible story of Joyo and Moist Esports.
Why are you interrupting my movie?
These cinematics are so hot.
For real, though.
In 2017, Rocket League announced the location of the 5th RLCS World Championship. The biggest
Season
Rocket League
5.
event yet that would take
This
place
is
at the
Rocket
Copperbox
League.
Arena in London,
This
England.
is
Meanwhile,
Rocket
up
League.
north, a Rocket League fan named Joyo saw this as the perfect opportunity to attend one of these amazing events in person. Fortunately for Joyo,
He was 12.
Oh my God, Joyo was 12 in season 5?
Yes.
Years old, he and his mom went to go see their
Tell me
first
I'm
Rocket League
old
World
without telling me I'm
Championship
old.
in person. Little did they know, this very event would be so special that it would go down as one of the greatest in Rocket League history, even to this day.
They have to keep this one alive. A lot's going to keep following. That's going to touch. A lot. But only for a brief second, because Justin is going to win it for NRG. Devo up high. That is going to drop down.
I miss Season 5 Rocket League, bro.
For
Oh
real.
my goodness. Oh my carrots. This is Rocket League.
Just losing their minds.
Everybody was.
It's probably the most fabled moment of that LAN. I remember I watched it. Pretty insane. I mean, something that'll never happen again, probably.
Although he didn't have any plans for his own future with Rocket League at this point, you can imagine how special it must have been to attend potentially the greatest event that this game will ever see.
I remember
Literally.
My mom told me, she was like,
Yeah.
you know what, I understand. the
Paris will
game
be
now." Like,
bigger,
she didn't understand it before.
but that will
and
be
then
the
when she went
biggest.
there and like saw it as this big event, and
1,000.
like people came all over the world to watch it, and there's money involved. You know, she supported me.
But as I said, at this point, Joyo wasn't really sure where he'd go with this game yet. In the meantime, he eventually found himself on the other side of the community, on a freestyling team known as Pulse Clan.
Which amazing,
Pulse
by the
or
way.
Pulse
Yeah.
Clan, the way I'd compare it to anything is it's like COD trick shotting.
No way! No way!
It's like phase. It's like the phase trick shotting of Rocket League.
Anyone
Yeah,
who knows
it
about
is,
the
really.
freestyling community
Yeah,
in Rocket
literally.
League knows that these guys are some
Oh,
of the most
ceiling
mechanically
shuffles.
impressive players in the
So
world.
gross.
Joyo happened to join the clan as a comp clip hitter, which basically meant he was someone that would play competitive matches in high-level ranked, for example, but still go for insanely impressive shots against.
So basically, he's better than all us,
At
like
just
all of
13 years
us.
old
Yeah.
now,
Yep.
His skill set was
Yep.
growing
That's what I
fast.
heard.
He's only
As you can
13.
imagine, it formed his playstyle
Yeah.
in a very unique way. But at the same time, Joyo wasn't completely committed to freestyling either. During all this, he was also grinding a different competitive ranked system, known as Six-Mans. Six-Mans, on the other hand, is pretty much the exact opposite of freestyling. To casual players, they don't really care about it, but to competitive players, it's a crucial step to take in order to eventually reach the pro scene. In short, Six-Mans is a Discord community with its own ranked system, where players can queue matches all the same, but it's much more competitive than the system built into Rocket League. Instead of the ranks just stopping
Yeah, it
with
is.
Supersonic Legend being the highest achievement, in Six-Mans they actually keep going beyond SSL, with
Yeah.
ranks such as B, B+, A, X, and eventually
I peaked in
Pro.
A.
By the time he was
I've never
14
hit
years old,
X.
Joyo was still making progress and all the way up at rank A, which is pretty respectable, especially considering he still wasn't fully committed to either side of the community yet.
Yeah, that's
Until
fair.
Something devastating happened. So you
Oh?
mentioned earlier how there was a point where you almost stopped playing entirely. Can you tell me about that?
So
I
when
love
was
the dark, rainy
14,
feel.
I nearly
first
quit the
off.
game.
What happened?
I demoted from rank A.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
when
Okay.
young
All
players
right.
miss a
All
rank,
right.
It's like the worst thing that could ever happen to them.
Yeah.
Oh, are we
So I go
serious?
and
Yeah,
have an emo
okay.
phase,
Okay.
black profile picture. That's like completely was not ready to grind back up.
Bro
I just stopped
entered
playing
his
COD
villain
and
era.
played casual, and I was like,
Mhm.
well, I mean, I'm freestyling and I'm in pulse and everything. I might as well just do that instead of comp.
While at the time this was a pretty dark era for Joyo, it's also where he really began to make a name for himself. Pulse Clan is Rocket League's most popular freestyling team, with huge creators in the community. So when his focus shifted toward that, he started popping up in various YouTube videos. Not only did this get his name out there, but this era of being on the edge of nearly quitting the game also further developed his unique skill set of creative mechanics, which came in very handy when he had a sudden realization as he was getting closer and closer to turning 15.
For RLCS, you have to be 15 to compete. I didn't even think that the game would still have like a big fan base. I thought it could have died before I turned 15, but lo and behold, I was about to turn 15
Brother.
and the game was at its peak. I had this sort of moment of realization, like, I might as well try. I took that 6 months to, get back into Six-Mans, and I started grinding again, fully focused, more motivated than like even before. It was like a new level of motivation.
These cinematic shots are so hot.
Now that Joyo was 15 years old, he was eligible to compete in Rocket League's official competitive league, the RLCS. So when the previous season was ending and the off-season began, that's when Joyo had the perfect window to
These
find
cinematics are
himself.
so sick.
They call it roster
I
mania.
love it.
Why did I just see 20 different
This is the
Joyos on the
time where
pitch?
anything goes. Players are
I'm also
running around
seeing
with
that. I think it's like an
tryouts and
overlay
discussions
of
to
I
find
like
their
it.
game
teams
It's
as
sick.
soon as possible to join for next season.
How do I do
Everyone
that?
looking
Yeah,
at these
legit.
teams, they're scrambling to get a team sorted, to stick, to start practicing as fast as possible.
And for Joyo, his situation seemed to align perfectly with a longtime friend named Rise.
Me and Rise, we were in like nearly identical positions. We just sort of like gradually came to the idea together. Why don't we try out? Why don't we see what we can do? We've known each other for ages. If it works,
Nutty.
perfect.
So with that in mind, still not fully committing to anything, they looked around for a few different players to try out with them. One guy in particular was a French up-and-comer named Vatira, who was also just now becoming eligible.
We did a scrim with Atera.
It's crazy how these three guys kind of were just thinking about getting into the scene. Fast forward to now, they had one of the most dominant runs in European history. Vatira's
Literally.
winning like world titles as we speak. But he was just a freestyler. It's crazy.
Tournament. It was called Mediterranean Esports. There was a few pro teams in it as well near the end. We signed up. We didn't really think anything of it, and we got quite far into it. But at the same time, I had a scrim with Endpoint. Endpoint was the first pro
Wait.
team I ever got asked to scrim with. And
Imagine being able
we
to
get
scrim
this
with Mets and
time
Harris
limit
at the age of
tournament.
15
Tournament match is meant to be
That would
played.
be
It was an hour
crazy.
or two
and then
after
turn
the
them
scrim.
down.
So I get into the scrim with Endpoint the day later, thinking nothing of it. I play a game or two, and then I'm getting spammed by Rise. The guy got the times wrong. He told us the wrong time. We need to play now. And I'm like, well, I'm in a scrim. It wasn't an argument. We were like discussing it. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to do this scrim. And he's like, you can scrim with them
Profile
whenever,
picture.
but, like, we only have this tournament now.
Yeah.
It was my first pro tryout. and
Okay, could you
it made me
imagine
really
being able to
excited,
scrim with
like,
Mets and
I finally
Harris
get to
or
prove
go
myself.
play with your team?
So
That's such a hard
he
choice.
convinced me. I
That
leave
is
the
a hard
Endpoint scrim
choice.
early, not knowing that would be my last scrim with them because I left. But yeah, I leave the scrim and I play with them, and I mean it went pretty well, to be honest. Luckily for us, we won the entire tournament through the upper bracket. We beat,
Wow.
we were playing really good against everyone, and it was very lucky. I mean, that admin who got the times wrong accidentally made this.
Yeah. What?
Following that tournament,
Yeah.
the esports
The thought that it was an admin's call that really boiled down one of the most dominant European teams the sport has ever seen, the butterfly effect on that is absolutely nuts. Vatira might not have just lifted the trophy in Birmingham if it weren't for that admin making that one call. That is actually crazy to me.
Sports organization Team Queso contacted the three of them.
That's
It seems
so
that after
nuts.
beating their original team in the upper finals, Rise, Joyo, and Vatira were immediately on their radar. Some conversations later, and it was settled. The three of them were committed to playing under the organization Team Queso, heading into their first full RLCS season. So, what happens now? Well, firstly, to reach their goal of eventually competing on the big stage in front of a crowd, they would first need to prove that they can qualify for the first event of the season. To do that, they'd need to compete for one of only 16 spots in the first European regional. Which
That
is
sounds
by
like
no
a lot,
means an easy
but
task,
no.
especially considering there's
Not in their
hundreds of
shoes.
other European teams trying to do the exact same thing. Fortunately, though, Team Queso managed to breeze by this stage pretty comfortably, and we're officially an RLCS team.
I mean, what a great name for a team, first off, and then another amazing logo.
Yeah, for
I wish we'd have gotten the
Since
Team
this first
Queso
event of the season was
decals
just
in
a
game.
regional tournament, it meant two things.
we
First,
were supposed
all
to. That's
players
the
are
funny
playing
thing of
remotely
it.
from their homes, and second, they were only competing against other European teams. However, what makes these events so important is that performing well in them is what qualifies you for the major event later on, where you compete against the best teams from around the world at one location in person. That is the true goal, but you can only qualify for that by first proving you're one of the best teams in your region.
But Team Queso, they're beating teams all over the place right now, so who knows?
Halfjack.
Team Queso versus Dignitas in.
This is when Jorius and Jack were peaking together too.
Like, it does
They
look like
really
Jake
were.
is out fast.
And they had
Team
Scrub on
Queso
their team?
won. I would say
Yikes.
that a lot of teams, Team Queso's
That's a
playing
gross
very well
roster.
back. We're going to see something, I think, in this game, and maybe we can just close it out and stop.
Oh my God, was that triple tap?
Scrub trying to make it awkward, completely misses again.
Oh, the flick.
Beats apparently Jack in the air, and Scrub's got to get a piece of this.
There we go.
2-2.
Off the backward. Double
Bang,
tap.
bang.
Put it
What
in.
a save.
No follow-up either. Rise. Look at the save.
Oh, Jorius, Lazzarella.
We lost a game 5 to Dig. I think we lost a game 5 to BDS and stuff, and we knew we could win them series. But like, it was annoying.
But
that
like
we weren't there yet,
going
we
to
knew we could
game
be.
5
Against
Dignitas
that roster
or-
in this
or
point in
BDS.
their career, their first ever
2 weeks
regional.
later in the
Not
second
bad.
regional
Just
was
not
their
bad.
even worse performance.
Oh,
After
they got
that,
worse.
In the third, they managed to sneak in the top 8, but were eliminated by a Game 7 loss.
And I remember
This
that
was their
too.
finish for the first split at
It was again
joint ninth
Dignitas.
in Europe, which unfortunately meant they'd miss out on the first major of the season. But on the bright side, there was still
But that was
plenty
their
of the season
first
left.
time in the
fact,
RLCS,
that was
so
only the
like,
first of 3 total splits.
Literally,
In the next
yeah.
one, all the points would reset, and they'd have another shot at qualifying for the major.
I'm just gonna give you a little disclaimer. What the heck?
What a great time to pause right at that ad.
Let's face it, guys' boxers are the best, but they're not made for women. Ladies, isn't it time we had our own boxers?
What?
What even women's boxers ad. What?
Make sure you guys go over to YagiClan.com where you can get your new Yagi edition women's boxers available now. Short period of time. Link in description. I'm just gonna give you a little disclaimer now. At this point in my time, in my career, I'm with Space Station, and I'm just gonna give you that disclaimer now, so you'll understand why right here during their career I hated these three players so much.
Hi, my name is Jack Collier, or better known as Corelli in the RLCS. The Queso story is not only an interesting story to me,
That's
but
Sennheiser
also,
headset,
I
by
think,
the way.
an important story to the greater context of the esport of Rocket League. In the first regional, Queso came out swinging pretty B. They finished the top of their group, but I think
Wait,
the big
what?
turning point that I think turned a lot
They
of heads
finished the
towards
top
Queso
of their group.
was the upper bracket final against BDS.
I hate that
Just
name.
one of the best teams of all time in Rocket League. They are passionate after the 4 major, and they're going to take it the whole way through this event, starting with Queso today.
Get a little bit of
Oh
breathing
wow,
room
this
to
is the
hear
Mark
these
by
dogs
8
loosen and
BDS
that
era.
challenge happen. Now another response for Joyo, and he's missed it.
Oh god.
Maestro will punch it in. BDS punished late.
I think all of us on our team have this idea that you play the best when you have nothing to think about, and the game's like purely instinctual.
Oh, it bounced out the zero.
That is so true.
Yeah.
So with 4 seconds remaining, have
It's not for me, but I understand
We
the
sort of spoke
concept.
about how we wanted to play our game, and we had this like new way of playing, just like purely naturally, because we knew we worked together, and it was way less stressful, I'd say. Like, it felt natural, and I mean, the rest is history.
And I feel like regardless of whether or not you're a fan of Team Queso, you're happy to see them finally get a goal.
With the air dribble bump.
Yeah.
50-50 does go his way. Got Vatira to follow it up. And like you said, Jorby, you really cannot count out BDS quite yet. Unless you've got Vatira on the other side.
I certainly didn't expect Queso to be up 3-0 by the time here. BDS have not had the fortune of getting those passes, and Queso are on a demolition derby towards a
I mean, this is crazy. Like,
yeah,
they just became a team, and they're over here literally
Queso went on to beat
demolishing
Dignitas
BDS.
in the grand final
Yeah.
in commanding fashion again. And I think at that point, everyone knew this split was going to be different than previous.
The shocking result of the first regional of this split turned out
You
to
think?
be in no way a fluke. After taking first place in it against all odds, Queso carried that momentum straight into the second regional 2 weeks later.
It's complicated, you know, that complicated sequence like you did, probably not, but that's what we love about Queso, as Joyo now going all the way, is that triple?
A second place finish, only losing to the previous major champions, meant that Team Queso had now clinched their spot for the major before the third regional had even begun.
In their second split ever as a
Queso had
team.
done something that so few
In their
teams had
second
done in the
split
past.
ever,
They went from a
2 regionals in, and they've already secured a spot at the main.
In our second split ever, we still had a plat on our team.
While keeping
Oh,
the same
God.
roster. You
Oh,
had
God.
4 wins over Dignitas. You had
It's
a dominant
very
win
different
over
orgs.
BDS.
Yes,
You
yes.
had 2 wins over the domestic Titan in Endpoint in a grand final in Regional 3.
Skyrocketing to the #1 seed in Europe was already
Nuts.
an unbelievable accomplishment. But the job
Yeah,
was
that's kinda
still
gross.
far from done. At the Winter Major in Los
So
Angeles, California,
this is where
Queso
I got
finally
to
had
see
their
this
chance
live.
to show
This
the
was my
entire
first
world
introduction to
just
them
how
when I
special
was with
they are.
Space Station.
Oh, another ad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How are you today?
I wonder if you'll be able to see me in this footage.
When you're playing Rocket
cool would
League
that be?
esports and you're a pro,
I've seen it happen a lot.
Play in front of a crowd.
You look at Team Queso as one of the best teams in Europe right now. I mean, they were just winning regionals and
Yeah.
taking down teams like BDS who had just won the fall major. And then, so now we see them in a completely different environment because you're not in the comfort of your living room anymore or your bedroom or wherever you're playing at. You are here in this building, and then you're going to be there in front of that crowd.
And it is very different in the crowd. Like, the crowd has so much energy.
LAN Rocket League is different than online Rocket League. There's a reason why it exists.
Detonator and NA's 3 and 4 seed phase in version 1. Queso up against Detonator, to put things lightly, they crushed him.
Well,
For
I
all
mean,
intents and purposes,
they
this was
crushed him.
basically a warm-up series for Queso. It was an expected win, and they dominated throughout.
The 5th for Team Queso.
When Queso met FaZe in the group stage, I was a little worried for him. I remember casting the series with James.
FK
and
kind
a
of
big
popped off
talking
here,
point
but
was
it
how
wasn't
FaZe
enough.
had been pretty consistent against EU teams on land.
The Winter Major, you haven't seen it. Here's a pass across, and there it comes for FaZe 2 up.
So FaZe felt like they were going to be a pretty big test for Queso.
Oh my.
Oh, gosh.
Here they come again. Joyo's going to beat the last man in A-Base. Second touch for Joyo. Looming. Top shot for
I mean, to be fair, it was the first
After
time
dropping
that they
2
were
games in the best
actually
of 5,
facing,
Queso did well
Yeah.
to battle back, and
you know,
they were able
a
to win 2
strong
straight to clinch that
NA
series.
Yeah, that's true.
I also casted the Queso version 1 series, and I was pretty confident that Queso was going to win.
I low-key had my money on
I think
V1 at this
players
point in
and community
time.
started to take notice of version 1, particularly about how Calm was acting during the Winter Major.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was standing up,
His play style was
screaming.
very
Yeah.
demo-heavy.
He was saying
He was a nuisance.
slurs
He
about
was
your
annoying.
mom right to your face after demoing you.
Really,
Like,
I think it was the
Yeah.
off-the-field behavior that
Calm
caught
was
everyone's
kinda
attention. Teams
going
were sat
crazy.
facing
I didn't like him for a
each
while.
other,
We've
which means
made up,
even with
but
headphones, players were still at earshot of each other if you screamed loud enough. It turns out
he was
Calm
standing
knew
up.
this, and
Yeah.
he started laying into players.
And then a fake from Joyo on his own teammate. What's going on? He's laughing at him.
Yeah. I didn't like Calm for the longest time.
I can't say it for every other player,
That's
but
fair.
Dom, like, it doesn't like get to you personally. You don't feel bad about what he says, but you want to say it back. They try and make you as panicky and rushed as possible.
From version 1, they're screaming on the other side of the venue. We can still hear it.
His trash talk was something even me as a caster in the other room could hear through my own headset.
Here comes Torment. Beast Mode's going to take it away.
Yeah,
Down
that's-
into the net. Version 1.
I mean, you have to be loud, but
So far,
that's
some
just rude.
big
Yeah,
upsets
Calm
here.
took it too
Version
far in my
1
eyes.
guys getting the win on Queso on the B stream rolled as none of us saw this coming.
Team Queso's unexpected loss to version 1 put them at a severe disadvantage for the rest of the tournament. Finishing second in their group meant they would automatically be placed in the lower bracket for playoffs. A daunting 7 series away from a championship.
Gosh.
Team, where one
That
There's you
bracket
up there.
hurts to look. Yeah. Yeah.
It's absolutely
He said that bracket hurts
one
to
of the
look
grand
at.
finals that I thought was most likely.
It's fair to say most teams in this spot in the bracket would.
I
lower
miss
their
Turtle as a
expectations
play-by-play
at this point.
announcer.
It's
I don't know
hard
why
not to
they
prepare
never
yourself for
signed
the
him
worst
back.
when you're constantly on the edge of elimination and so far away from success. But for some reason, even as rookies, this pressure didn't apply to Queso. Having their backs against the wall turned out to be exactly what makes them so special. And the entire scene was just about to realize that. Starting with North America's best, NRG.
That's a lie. Respectfully. They did not make Crowd Day.
No.
At this point in time, they were not NA's best. That's gross.
Yeah, the corner read at that point is just wild.
What does it mean to you to just have all these people coming out for the love of Rocket League?
Through it's Joyo who comes down with it. Flip reset. That's perfect.
Gross.
It's surreal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Never expected to do this in my career, and I love all the fans. Thank you very much for supporting me.
Opportunity for the flip reset.
This was free for them. I remember that series.
I mean, they had already beaten FaZe once.
Yeah.
It was, you know, they're already in the mental. Like, it was done before it started.
Ah, this one hurts to watch. This was our win. I mean it respectfully to the boys, but this was our win, and we won this match, except we didn't actually win it. We were winning until they got the best. I say to this day that this was the best save that has ever come out of RLCS history ever. And if it weren't for the best save in RLCS history ever, we would have won this match. We would have won this LAN. This was supposed to be our LAN. This was ours. SSG was taking it. Just saying.
I think everyone felt like something special was happening with Queso.
Oof.
The time has come. Game number 1 to start things off.
Entering the Space Station series, Queso pretty much embarrassed them in Game 1.
Coming out and
Yeah, no, no, it's the truth. It is the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did get slaughtered Game 1.
As they take game 1.
Yeah, for
But that's okay.
as the
We were a
series
slow
went
team.
on, it seemed like Space Station
Look at
was
this.
settling in.
But now Reynolds off the ceiling, has the flick, there's the bump! Reynolds scores! Space
I remember my dad popping off. I was watching this in the living room with my dad, and I remember him standing up and popping off when Reynolds scored that. This is a core memory for me. This is core memory.
With both teams going blow for blow.
tied up. And we'll see. Get the ball away. Arsenal follows his first another plan. Rise again. This one, pressure. Kimmel comes out of Joyo, and the ball goes in. Reynolds finishes. Look at that Space Station team come alive. Here it goes.
Oh, this makes me want to cry, bro. I remember this so much. I lost my voice after this series, fun fact.
Screaming too much?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we went game 7.
Game 7.
So Game 7 started with maybe the most amount of tension you could have in a Rocket League series that isn't a final. About a minute in, Queso was leading by a goal, and they were able to put away their second.
Vatira, one more touch needed, got it down in front. Rise will do it again. Queso coming along.
Usually in these moments, you kind of feel like the series is over. It was going to take somewhat of a miracle for Space Station to make a comeback.
Queso's put up a wall on their goal line.
With less than a minute to go, Space Station did finally score their first goal, and you could feel the sigh of relief, I think, for Space Station fans and, of course, the players.
SSG need this drive.
It's all on the line.
Daniel.
I have goosebumps right now, bro. I remember screaming
And that
so
is enough
loud for
time.
that.
For them.
Like
to get back into
45
this
seconds
game.
is more
Watch,
than enough
just
time
watch,
to
just
not
watch.
only-
Just look at this. Just watch.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, and now Daniel
not
wants
stopping.
more.
They're not
and
stopping.
Vatira read the play. Arsenal couldn't get the second touch, and that's dished behind Reynolds. Now Joyo with 30 to go, trying to add one more. Rise demolished.
Look at this. Just, this is the best save in RLCS history ever. This was our series.
So there are a few plays that really come to mind as one of the all-time greats in Rocket League. But here in Game 7, with 30 seconds left, Rise definitely gave us one of them. In a 2v1 situation against arguably the top 2 physical players in the league, Vatira was left alone in a lose-lose scenario. He either had to go for the ball and get demoed, or dodge the demo and give up his position to defend. In this case, Vatira somehow managed to do both. He dodged the demo and at least delayed the presumed goal, but with the ball still trickling towards the net, the inevitable seemed certain.
The slow-mo tension is so real. Halfway in the net.
You see, at the
Arsenal
beginning
is
of the
still
play,
pushing
Rise
the
was
ball.
demoed. And when you get demoed in Rocket League, you spawn on one of your defensive corners after a few seconds. So on the respawn, Rise had to do some inhuman calculations. First, identify which side of the field he spawned on. Second, adjust
Which
his car
is not a
accordingly.
thing anymore
And
because now we
third,
have
Yeah.
the save
the
all within a couple seconds.
pre-spawn cam.
After
But back
respawning,
then,
can
you
see
didn't
that
know what
Rise
side you
was
were
actually
spawning
guessing which side he was going to spawn on, turning his wheels immediately to the left.
Yep.
However, Rise spawned on the left side, initially veering in the wrong direction. But in a fraction of a second, Rise readjusts, correcting his direction towards the play and coming off screen to make what is the most legendary save that Rocket League Esports has ever seen.
I cried so hard. I dropped to my knees right there, bro. I'm not even lying to you. That is one of the core memories of my entire career.
Daniel now into the corner. Can they make something happen? Reynolds takes down Joyo. Ball going into the midfield. Where's anybody? Reynolds all the way. Is this going to go out? Fall down. It will. It will. Team Queso
That was the first interaction I ever had with those three players, and I did not like them for a long time afterwards. It took me a long time to get over that.
Space Station Gaming, the crowd going absolutely crazy for you guys. Any other shout-outs that you have going into this grand final?
Shout out my parents. They're supporting me at home, and I mean, they've helped me so much in my journey.
He's like, what, 15?
Yes, he's still 15.
Your team. Let me introduce you to Connect Team.
Oh my
The one
God.
platform that
It's time to show the world we are ready for the grand finals.
Queso have won the North American Gauntlet, and they've ended at their final station.
That's my boy J-Naps.
Yeah. He's an assistant coach now. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, he's assistant coach for Reynolds team, Shopify.
Oh.
Yeah, Knapsack's an assistant coach for Shopify now. Which props to him.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in the scene for a long time. I respect him a lot.
But considering what Queso had accomplished already, anything was truly possible.
That one off the bar. It's open. Queso win. 46
It's my boy Atomic right there too. This save was nuts.
Yep. Chicago, it was in.
Yeah.
That was in. I remember watching this
I remember
live,
that, yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
Rise winning another 50. It's Joyo keeping it going.
That's just so nuts to push for that.
Queso up by 2. Taken away by Rise. Has Frozen on the backboard. Here they come. G2 looking for the shot. Oh, it's gone! G2 again. Chicago downfield. Just on target.
How do you shoot that? Like, are we serious?
The angles. Pulling out a protractor before the ball gets to you.
Phantom touch. You even saw it in the replay.
Yep. Oh my God. J-Naps is crazy.
Yeah. Slaughterella Supreme.
Literally. Atomic pre-jump from midfield, just...
Yeah.
When a grand finals reaches game 7, it really is the perfect setup for something amazing to happen.
G2, one game away from winning the major.
Bang, bang.
Some of Rocket League's most iconic moments in history have occurred in situations just like these.
Yeah.
And for the first 4 minutes of this game, it was looking like we were about to witness another one.
The shot quality from Team Queso is just not there. Look at the clock. G2 have wasted so much time here. They've been defending, but they've defended well enough.
Rise, pops the ball hard, leads to a save for Chicago, but coming back, return fire! Joyo ties the game!
But they managed to get those clears, but eventually Team Queso was able to find that opening, and now they see another, but a goal line save from Atomic keeps it tied.
The defense this LAN was probably some of the highest I've ever seen in a LAN.
Really struggling here, but a backcourt response for Joyo.
Atomic, does he have the next touch? He missed it, but everyone's over on Queso. Rebound.
See? That's what I mean.
Running this Rise, and it's going to be G2 getting back.
Critical recovery from G2. A goal now would be it. Surely
Oof,
Rise actually
close.
sends it wide.
Unexpectedly,
Not great.
though, what happened this time around, as the clock counted down, can only really be described as embarrassing.
Again, trying to find the touch, pass out to Rise, downfield, Vatira taken away, pass cut off by G2, time running out, here they go.
I remember that.
Atomic literally backing up.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
I've casted Rocket League.
I remember
for
that call.
almost 8 years, and
A complete
I have
choke
never
from
seen
G2.
something like this.
A complete choke from G2.
I told you! I literally just called it. I literally just called it. I remember that.
Yep.
You could really see the pain on Chicago's face more than anything. Clearly, there was a miscommunication between him and Atomic, and Vatira just smacked it into the net with no one from G2 getting a touch on the ball.
Vatira puts the ball onto the ground, and here we
So they had a bracket reset back when those existed. I'm so glad those are gone. I hated those.
Although the bizarre ending to the series played out to Queso's benefit, they unfortunately couldn't keep the same performance throughout the second series.
So Team Queso, they're fighting from behind.
I never
having to play two best.
I never understood. I never understood the point of them. They just pissed me off.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they were
Either
gone.
way, something wasn't right. All the work, the countless amount of clutch moments that got them there, it all came crumbling down at the time where they needed it most. The time where they were only one series away from becoming RLCS major champions.
Keep in mind, in their second split
I
ever.
ordered 200 hand-forged knives to my dorm
Literally.
room and built a Wix website to sell them.
Why are there so many ads?
After the G2 series and after we lost, I remember we went back to our practice room and I just started crying.
Fair.
Yeah,
I
understandable.
couldn't believe it because I knew we could have won and we had the momentum until game 3 of the second series. It's just like dread because of how close we could have, well, how close we were to winning.
Yeah. Take it from someone who's gotten second place 3 times in their career. It's not fun. It's a punch to the gut.
An unexpected statement was released from the Team Queso Twitter account. It was announced that they were releasing their Rocket League team of Rise, Joyo, and Vatira ahead of the spring split. The season still had an entire split left before it was over. So this announcement initially left RLCS fans only with confusion.
WTF.
However, it wouldn't be long before the truth would come out, as just about a week later, their new home was officially revealed.
Moist.
But Moist are going to be kicking things off.
The one and only Moist Esports.
The level of Moist Esports to join Rocket League.
Moist Esports actually did acquire the Queso roster.
A happy and moist RLCS day 1.
Moist picked up Team Queso, which is pretty insane.
And it's as a lot of you expected, Moist Esports.
Rise, Joyo, and Vatira being signed by Moist Esports was some of the biggest news the community has had in a while, largely because of what it meant for the scene overall.
In the air now, Joyo. Flip reset immediately back onto the ball. Oh, and he puts it through the defense.
For those that don't know, Moist is an esports organization run by YouTuber and streamer Moist Critical, aka Charlie.
Baby!
Some people watch it, and that's really about it.
As a long-time, highly respected, and
I'm trying to prove that
tremendously popular
ghosts are
content
real.
creator, Charlie immediately brought millions of new eyes onto the Rocket League pro scene.
I mean, the Moist pickup, it's something I never thought would happen ever. I've been watching Charlie way before Moist Esports was even a thing.
It was to do with Flow. My, what on earth?
Double two, then the strider goes to the sky. He can get a flip reset here, and he can take it as well. Ceiling.
No, okay, good. We like that.
Each time Moist would compete throughout the spring split, Charlie would watch party their games with his huge
Their watch
audience,
parties with
which quickly
Rizzo
made
were
Moist one of the
hilarious.
biggest
With Rizzo.
Rizzo
Like,
and Moist Critical together were just so funny.
They're all sitting there like screaming. Someone like that involved in the scene is like nothing but positive things can come from that.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh my god, read him a bedtime story. Oh, the rule 1.
Read him a bedtime story.
They
Rule
truly
1
brought
in
a huge new audience to the
RLCS, wild.
RLCS. Not only
That
through
happens a
making the
lot.
games
You'd actually
more
be
lighthearted
surprised.
and fun for everyone, but simultaneously delivering some of the most hyped
Headphone
reactions
warning.
the community has ever seen.
Come on, Rise, come on, Rise. What you do, yeah.
Through the final split of the season, Moist unfortunately had a little bit of a slower start in the first 2 regionals with still decent placement, but they pulled it together for the last one to take home regional number 3. This totaled them up to easily qualify for the spring major.
Keep in mind, you saw how my very first interaction was with them for the winter major, right?
Yep.
Just wait till we meet again in the spring. Watch this.
This time coming into it as the 2nd seed from Europe. So once
Keep in
again,
mind,
the
this is
boys
my
packed their
second
bags,
time ever
hit the road,
interacting with them.
This time headed straight for London. London. Why is that so familiar?
I
This
wonder.
is Rocket League.
Welcome to the London Major.
4 years ago, we witnessed in this very arena.
I watched season 5 and it was a great event.
We're back for Landon.
When he was 12.
We gotta kick it off the right
Yeah.
way.
He's now what, like 15,
The
16?
Spring Major was Moist Esports'
15,
true
yeah.
shot at redemption. This time, the format was simplified to just one double elimination bracket.
Thank
Lose
goodness.
once, and you're sent to lowers.
Right.
Lose again, and you're officially eliminated.
I
For the
love
sake
this
of
bracket a lot
efficiency,
more.
The first 2 rounds of the bracket would be
Yep.
played in studio with no live crowd present.
And so can he
Although it does really suck if you get eliminated before you make crowd days.
Yeah.
But from round 3
And that's
on,
still the-
doors
that's
would be
still the
open to
case.
showcase every match
Yeah.
in front of the entire London crowd.
Which kinda
But
sucks.
That stage
kinda
was
sucks,
Moist's
but I
first
prefer it
step
this
in
way.
this long journey toward
Yes.
redemption.
Perfectly positioned, a nice pass coming through. Rise and taking the lead. The pop up over Illusion. Batira getting the bump, and now Rise
tangled up our optic, still threatening here from Moist. Another shot from Joyo. That one plays perfectly. 2-1 Moist.
As expected, Moist's first series in the tournament here was quite the breeze. But as soon as only round 2, they would already see their first real hurdle.
This one is so.
I remember Calm got fines on this series. They fined him for some of the stuff he said.
For version 1.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Version 1 Moist Esports.
kind of going crazy.
Yeah, he lost his filter
That
too
whole
much.
season.
Yeah.
That whole season.
That season is when he broke the world record for the most demos in RLCS series against NRG.
On ball, off ball, and even
That's a fun video. I'll show you that one later.
with something where someone is so physical.
Yeah, look at Calm just chasing and
Yeah,
pointing
he's
and
0
laughing.
boost, like, come here, baby.
Seriously, imagine getting chased and you look up and he's just standing there pointing and laughing at you.
Adjustments, trying to get your head
Yep.
on straight.
It gets in your head,
because
bro.
The match is going to continue whether you're ready or not.
Trying to tie up the series with this narrow 1-goal advantage.
Oh no! Despite the high hopes and expectations beyond just the second round, Moist found themselves losing their flow early on.
It's brutal. The net, it's open. Torment is going to parry it in.
So version 1 was giving Moist a reminder of what had happened in the winter.
Here to the defensive
Literally.
end. Demo again.
Yeah.
On with the shot.
It just feels like they're struggling even just to get the possession. And no one there. Beast mode.
You think about it too much to the point where it just happens. And all I could think about was throwing again. So I threw again.
Yep.
Usually, after
Down to
taking
lowers.
an early loss like this, it would mean that your next few matches would at least be a little easier.
Yeah,
But
no, they
to
weren't.
make matters worse, Moist weren't the only top contender with this same fate.
It's the Winter Major
You get paired against G2 first thing in the lower
Yeah.
bracket. You're cooked.
The number
That's
one
so
seed is a
unfortunate.
curse.
So now you have
Look at
G2
teammates.
and Moist in the lower bracket, and FaZe Clan and Team Liquid all in the lower
Liquid was
bracket. I think everyone
Liquid was mid at that
stood
point in
to a
time.
point where we really didn't know what was going on.
The crazy amount of high-power teams in the lower bracket, specifically in the way of Moist, meant that every round from here on out would be
I
against
miss
a
Typical,
genuine
bro.
threat of a team that could very well end
I wish
their
that kid was still
tournament lives
around.
right then and there. Somehow, the road ahead of them was now even more daunting than what they had faced at the Winter Major, which is exactly what makes these
Yeah,
next few days
kinda.
of Rocket League history so special.
I mean, Pioneers should be free, but that means they're guaranteed G2 right
With such an
after.
unpredictable lower bracket, it seemed like everyone had their own take
Ugh.
on how they expected it to unfold.
I remember
There
he
were
tried to
so
call
many
that the Joyo
completely
reset
different
at that time.
possibilities that all had reasonable chances of actually happening.
I gotta say, FaZe, they're gonna make that lower bracket run.
For Moist, though, whatever they did to get themselves back on track had clearly worked, as they took down the Pioneers in a comfortable sweep.
Into the final weekend.
Their next series took
And
place the following
now
day
they
against
made
Team Liquid.
crowd days.
Already,
Yeah.
this was one of those matches where you could predict either of these teams making that full lower bracket run.
Moist versus Liquid.
I forgot
was
G2
a
got
close
upset
split.
there. That was sad.
Liquid versus Moist. It's a close battle. We got a very split desk. But my oh my, Cole, this has potential to be an offensive shootout.
You're not going to want a slow start versus Moist. They've managed to just about tear it back from G2. There was a lot of viewing parties happening. No
See, you're not supposed to shoot that and score that in RLCS. That's just not how that works.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So it is starting to look like much more of a
If your name is
battle.
Joyo,
Liquid
you
have
can
kind
do
of
it.
settled in their
I guess so.
nerves.
Looking to bear down and finds the far post it in. Team Liquid tie the series up. There it is.
He's flag behind him, representing his nation. Gunn's just going on for a tie. Team Liquid, they cannot be beaten in game 3. They've turned it completely on its head.
Are you serious?
Oh my god.
Why?
So now Team Liquid have put the series on match point off of that. Again, Moist was in the lead until zero.
I never liked the best of fives on crowd days.
Off the kickoff.
Once you hit crowd days, they should be best of sevens in my eyes.
It's moments like these where you could easily
I feel
imagine
like-
a young team like this
I feel
losing
like
their spark.
they
and
have to be
accepting
best of
defeat.
fives just for time.
Yeah, but they should just have, yeah, I don't know.
Right back home for Joyo. Nice follow-up.
In my opinion, this match should have been just late the night before while it wasn't a crowd day,
However, rather than
for
giving
time's
up,
sake.
Moist would pivot from here to
That's
pull
fair.
something off in this tournament.
Because if
that
I'm
will
paying money to go
ultimately
watch
define
this live, I
their
want to see
legacy.
it be a best of 7. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
And after some incredible
Or,
defense
you know,
in
they
Game
could have
4,
just
they
could
kept
have just
Liquid
made
scoreless
like
to
one
even out
more
the
crowd
series.
day and push
Right.
the
In Game
non
5, Liquid would bounce
you
right
know,
back
shown
with some
not
relentless
crowd
offense.
day
Exactly,
games
yeah.
earlier a day.
And they did that
But it
for
still ends
Worlds.
on Championship Sunday.
They had like 12 crowd days for
But it
Worlds
wouldn't go
this
unanswered
year.
as Moist strike
Not
back
this year, but
less
this
than a
year that we're
minute.
watching.
I was like, no, there's only like
Moist at this
five,
point.
four
No,
crowd
2021
days.
and 2022 is what this was. This is the 2022 World Championship. And they had 12 days of crowd days. And it was the best World Championship I've ever been to because of that fact.
It's just so much rock.
Yeah.
Like,
I call it a
I would
it's
love
called a celebration of the sport for a reason.
yeah.
For the first time of what would be many, Moist had just barely escaped elimination and were now moving forward to the lower quarterfinals.
Oh,
You can hear from the roar of the crowd.
love this
that
memory
you
for me.
are the crowd favorite. How does that make you feel?
I mean, just thank you to everyone here. We love you all. We're gonna win it.
With the ending of that match, every series from here on out in the tournament would be a best of 7. But to see who Moist would play next, the two upper semifinal matches had to be played first. In the first one, version 1 took down another European favorite team. Therefore,
Which was
earning
nuts.
their reputation
Just
in
saying.
front of the crowd as
Yeah.
the villains of the
Just saying.
That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I was low-key happy when he got booed.
This team attracted so many haters, you'd be troubled to find a single goal where the crowd actually cheered them on. But still, they performed incredibly well and were moving forward in the upper bracket. Meanwhile, in the other match, whoever would lose this
Yeah, I
one
hate
would
it.
be
I hate
Moist
this memory.
Esports'
Can I
next
just
opponent
fast forward
in
this
the
part real
lower
quick?
bracket. This
Can I just
one
fast
ended
forward
up
just
being
a little bit?
total nail-biter
Nope,
of a
nope, we
series.
have to watch
But in the
Falcons
end, the Falcons would
murder
continue their
Space
run,
Station.
which
Yeah.
therefore meant that Moist Esports' next opponent would be none other
I mean, it was
than SSG.
it was close, but
So, this is my second ever interaction with these three players. And keep in mind, we're in London now. So the first time was terrible, but we were in our home crowd. Keep in mind, now we're in their crowd. We are in London, where they are from.
Ridiculous. Space Station coming fresh off a thrilling 7-game series, now in the lower bracket here against Moist.
Given the context of what happened last time these two teams played, literally just a couple months ago at the Winter Major, the hype was certainly real, and as the series played out, it was
Yeah, this was
shaping
our
up to be
garage match.
another banger
That's
for
what we
all
called it.
Rocket League fans alike.
literally.
Moist still in control of this, right off the kickoff. Oh, sees it, and Rise delivers.
Something about these clashing playstyles and personalities makes the perfect recipe for great Rocket League and unbelievably clutch situations.
It's going to lead to a goal, and yes, it has.
It's hard not to watch a series like this and be completely captivated despite it only taking place in the lower quarterfinals. The series continued to progress and become more and more intense with each passing moment. There were plenty of reasons to back either of these teams
I remember that
making the
play.
full run to the grand finals, but only one of them could extend their tournament lives from here.
In the back line, trying to keep Arsenal honest. Reynolds got the clear.
Okay, keep in mind, another match.
Game
Are
7.
you serious?
Another ad.
With
Let's go.
Monday.com's intuitive work management.
And what better way to decide it than another Game 7?
So, this is my second time ever interacting with them. We go Game 7 again.
Boys, can they clutch it up like they've done so many times?
Is perfect for a Game 7 like this because you're going to frustrate your opponents by getting these bumps and demos. Are going to be so horrible to play against, but so can Matera.
Space Station want a quick response. Trying to bump them out of the way, trying to force them out of the rotation. Arsenal in the air. Meltzer! Oh, what a save from Rise!
Rise again, staying grounded, staying cool.
I remember right there, I was so mad that that went in. I yelled, but it caught me off guard, and I bit my tongue so hard it was bleeding during the series right at that shot.
Wide,
Oh my God.
isn't able to clutch it out.
Yeah, great blocking though there from Arsenal. Had to stay strong against two Moist players. It's getting so close. There is the pass used from Daniel. Arsenal clears it. Chances at both ends.
Not giving them too much space. Rise doesn't have the boost. Space Station win another touch.
Space Station a 2-7 in Game 7 this season. But none of
39 seconds, tied, 1-1. Winner goes on, loser goes home. Yeah, that touch was so just it.
Shuttle target denied again. Space Station hanging on to that ball.
Low-key Reynolds just threw right there.
Space Station again getting that clear shot.
But so did, like,
And then
I was so
Joyo
mad.
just
I
absolutely
was so mad. Like, we're up.
Space Station Gaming on the cusp of the top 4.
He says, I was so mad. We're up. 9
So,
seconds
what
left.
happened from your perspective on that play with 9 seconds left?
The only reason they scored is because I missed an aerial that no one else.
Yeah, he whiffed so hard.
I literally just said my fault, and I just went like silent after.
Reynolds becoming animated, returning to where he began.
Both Rise and Vatira, like they both just started talking. They were like, "It literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are out."
Props to them.
We're chilling. They don't deserve that.
Literally, yeah.
Come on, diss them.
We got time. 9 seconds, but we have time.
Yeah.
Dude, the score of this movie is so good.
So I'm just gonna fast forward.
And we got ready for the kickoff.
And on this big stage, they are sitting 9 seconds.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a blessing from like a higher power. I did a perfect
What a kickoff.
Vatira followed perfectly and we just scored instantly.
I don't think
Immediately
I've ever been this mad in my like entire career ever. I don't think I've yelled as loud as I did right here. I was so mad. Genuinely so mad.
It was like, no way they did it again. Like, really? This really?
Such limited boost, and yet Space Station managed to hold on tight.
Controlling the midfield. He's got enough boost. What's he got?
Reset.
Too far forward for a pass. All Daniel did was just sit there. He knew that there was a penalty with the 50. Here they come.
Ugh. The control is disgusting.
So the first time I ever meet these three guys, I say hi, they go on stage and get the best save in Rocket League history. The second time ever I meet these guys, I say hi, and then they go and get the best kickoff in Rocket League history. Ah! I'm still mad. To be honest, I'm still mad.
Still a little heated about that.
I respect all of the players, but yes, that's just how does that happen? Genuinely.
Everyone at home, you know I love you. I love everyone here in the crowd and Charlie.
For cake form. This one tied up now. Aspen's got to shake.
We're thankful for this opportunity. We love you so much. Let's get wet.
Let's get wet.
This match was supposed to be interesting, but it ended up being very anticlimactic.
Untouchable here in the top 4, even against what used to be their one true.
Gosh!
Demo. Everybody on the field is dead.
Yeah.
They just do so much that we've never seen before every single time they play. If you want to watch good Rocket League, watch Moist.
Doesn't want to concentrate though more than they ever have before to keep up their defensive. But you can rotate all you like until Joyo comes along. Enough to do it. What's the bump? Does he get it?
That's gross.
That is gross.
Version 1 eliminated from contention.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, who's silent
all your
now?
shit talking
Yeah,
about, Tom?
who's silent now?
After a total beatdown and a
Yeah,
beautiful
did you see that? Look. Look at him. Look at him.
After a total beatdown.
Yep. What was that?
What was that? Calm, I can't hear you.
And a beautiful display of redemption. The last thing Moist had to do was finish what they started.
This was Falcon's peak
finals.
too. Keep in mind.
Yeah, it was.
Are you actually serious? It won't even let me skip it.
Grand Finals, Falcons coming through the upper bracket.
2 lives for the Falcons. Moist, they not only have to win 1 best of 7, they gotta win 2 at this point.
Going into this series, not even
Which
going into,
is
going
so
into the tournament.
Why is he wearing
Falcons
2
was high on the
glasses?
radar.
I think it's the destiny of Falcons to win this major.
Yeah, everyone had
Arthur
Falcons.
returned, but everybody still knew how good they were. Johnny Boy would not shut up about how good they were. And then to see them
Yeah, that's actually true. Johnny like glazes the Saudis.
Yeah, he
They
does.
get to the finals, and it feels like
They're good,
this
though.
team,
I can't
this
lie.
is their moment.
They got some
And they
chemistry.
still are.
Yeah.
It's Falcons.
They still are.
Yeah, they're one of the longest
Falcons-
lasting like peaking rosters I think we've seen in a long time. Besides like the NRG era of Season X.
Screaming at you, you can feel it shaking as you're up there competing for the best in the world.
Everyone in the arena is just gonna shout, cheer, and holler.
Yeah, there was not a Falcons fan in this building, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. No. Definitely not.
That was a surprise shot that Falcons were not ready for, but good for them. Wasn't on target. This one might be.
That back pass is gross. When you're playing a team like Falcons, you don't back pass like that with that much like lack of confidence. And then that's gotta hurt if you're in their shoes.
Began with some back and forth action. It ended with an unfortunate own goal, thus giving Falcons the early series lead.
Falcons take game number 1.
But if anyone could bounce back from something like this, it surely would be Moist.
Advance in mechanics within weeks. So to see Team Falcons now with the full roster still shining.
He's got absolutely nothing, but he's trying to stay on the ball.
So these overtimes are the plays that you would go for in scrims. Maybe even for online tournaments. Sarah does this at any level. Drop down pass for Rise. Saved by O'Callaghan. Tira takes control of the ball. Here we go.
These cinematics are peak.
They really are. Like,
Waiton killed it with these. No wonder it took him 2 years to do it.
I feel like he
Moist
like
had begun
got the
bulldozing
actual
their way through the
replays
first
so that he
series.
could go
Now
in.
just
Oh, yeah.
one game
Well,
away
yeah.
from a bracket reset.
Yeah,
Since
he
the Falcons
did.
had yet to be beaten,
That's
they
all- yeah.
still had an extra life.
I'll show you how to
even
do
if
that
the
later.
series didn't go their way. But as you might expect, they weren't ready to give it up that easily.
Here we go. Match number 5. Are we going for a bracket reset? Or can Team Falcons put this together?
Moist, we're really getting more outplays per minute. And Falcons, can they get one though? Ahmad lands it with.
With their backs to the wall, the Falcons finally responded with a complete
Yeah.
blowout win in Game 5.
5-1. Low-key, going 5-1 is really impressive when you're down a couple games.
Put an end to the first
Yeah.
series. But the Falcons fired back.
That
with
pinch
an
was nuts.
unbelievable cross-map pinch.
TRK's pinch. It goes all the way!
Evening out the series and sending us to Game 7.
Of course it was Game 7. You couldn't have written a better script.
Champions Field was essentially becoming Moist's home stadium at this point. So
Unfortunately.
it's no surprise that they were the ones to set the tone.
It's nice to try and back pass instead. Batira's going to be all over him. And a gnarly flick goes in. It's Moist in 12 seconds.
But the Falcons were no strangers to this field either, and quickly responded with one of the greatest goals of the tournament.
Against Ahmad, who is actually around to help you carry out. He's got past one. Got the flick.
That is gross.
Yep. using the reset to drop it.
If I'm doing that in GC lobbies, I'm freaking out. Let alone doing that in a best of 7 on LAN against some of the best European players in history ever. You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy.
Been through enough drama. What happened to them next put them down into the trenches all over again.
Has on whoever's behind. Oh, a big bump and the save from Moist Esports.
The rhythm boost bounce. Almost no one had anything off the backboard.
An own goal in a game 7.
Dude, that feels so bad.
Did the pressure finally catch up with them? Is this really how it would all come crashing down? All we could do
such an unfortunate touch.
Yeah, it was just pure nerves. You could tell.
With a mistake like that, it's going to haunt your memory.
Grind time.
You have to move on, move past it. You've got half of the game left.
Can't do any further than that. It's up to Tira to start up the next launch at offense. Team Falcons not willing to give up any length of the field. Joyo.
Bracket reset. Bracket reset. Oh, bang. Gross.
Amazing pass. What an angle.
Moist, bring it back. Minute and 50. Next goal is huge, and it could decide if this is a...
And the pass. And it's in.
Yeah, they were really good at those. If you watch back, I'm surprised we haven't seen more in this documentary, but they dished out a lot of those passes. He tried the same thing again.
It's a team sport.
Yeah.
Bracket reset.
I'm so mad that those exist. I'm genuinely so mad that bracket resets are a thing. I'm so glad they're gone though.
In that same position that they were in 3 months ago.
Gary, I got this.
Why?
Lottery multiply the cash. What's this?
What?
After we won that game 7, we went outside. We asked ESL, the manager, the player manager, if we could go and get fresh air after this first series, which we didn't get in LA. So we walked outside.
Is that the defining factor?
Fresh air, chilled for like.
In my eyes, I think it was.
And we came back and we were just like,
it has to be.
I'm not tired. I'm not tired like I was in LA. Like, there's no way we lose this.
There's no way we lose this.
Flashing in peak form. Let's do it again.
Gross.
Joyo. Hearing the crowd chanting his name is awesome.
Yeah.
Everything about my career, it seems almost planned of how perfect it is. And like, and how many times, if we were anyone else, or
yeah, how lucky you got against us twice in a row. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love you, Joyo. I'm not actually still salty. Trust.
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 I've been told a lot by people around me. I mean, I'm a freestyler. You know, it won't work in comp. And then in the grand finals of a major, when we needed to close it out the most, I mean, I freestyle.
He hits that.
It worked in a major final.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gross. That's gross. I don't remember that shot. I don't even remember
either,
that.
That's disgusting.
That's
a greater feeling than being the best in your class, and to do it in front of a crowd like this. Joyo off the reset. Look how far back. Moist can now play like that. They can afford to.
Also, can we talk about how much alpha boost?
Kind of describe like
we see.
his career, you know, from get
like
home onto the stage. What's that been like for you?
Actually indescribable.
you can see him still crying.
And now to be able to come to an event like this and see him win it.
Fun fact, there's a video on my channel where I interviewed her. I have a video where I interview her. making me want to cry over here.
Dude.
I can't wait for our turn. Rise,
I know,
joy
right?
of its era. Sushi, Zeno, and Dambo. Sushi, Zeno, and Dambo.
I think this is gonna be. This is like our revenge arc.
Facts.
We've talked about friends, but we haven't talked.
One of the biggest things, though, the only reason my mom ever believed that Rocket League had any future for me was because I took her to Season 5 and I convinced her to let me go.
That's actually crazy. Like,
yeah.
The fact that he wasn't even sure if he was going to compete, his mom didn't even want him to, and he took her to this venue when he was 12. Then
He was like, look
look
how big this is.
It was an admin's call that really ended up getting him to this point. He got, and I mean this very respectfully and not in a salty way, but he's gotten lucky a number of times in his bracket runs to get to where he is now. And
yeah.
Right here, right now, the entire building that he took his mom to when he was 12 is chanting his name with his mom watching it happen. Is nuts. Genuinely, you couldn't have written a better script.
Yeah.
Time skip of a few years forward and I'm winning in the exact same place. And the people I watch win are watching me win.
That statement right there is that's wow.
We've talked about teammates, we've talked about friends, but I want to talk about family because you seem to have the most supportive mother in the world. She's right in front of you. What does it mean to share this moment with teammates, friends, and family right in front of you?
An entire crowd that loves you.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I just,
literally.
My mom's been so supportive. So is my dad. He's at home. It's just unbelievable.
Must be nice.
And then, like, fast forward to world, like, championships.
That's the
24.
thing for me, is that this is where the story ends. It doesn't end with a world champion title yet. His story isn't over. His story is nuts. Like this right here, what we just watched, this hour and 2 minutes and 2 seconds could be a full career-long story in my eyes. And yet this is the very first year he ever played the game as a pro.
Yeah. That is, it's not even
this
the
is
entire
within
year. That
first
is just
3
the
splits.
First 3 splits. That's it.
And this is 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Meaning he's got, I mean, okay, if he was 15 at this point, that means he's 17, maybe 18 now. He's still at the very beginning of his career in my eyes.
Yeah.
And yet,
with Oxygen, he's going places.
Yeah.
He's going far.
That's what's crazy. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Absolute banger video. That was a lot better than I was actually expecting it to be. Shout out to Waiting. You guys need to go give the actual video a watch. Make sure you guys like, subscribe on this channel, on this video. Make sure you guys join the Discord. Check out some awesome Rocket League coaching, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!